So the next speech, it will be from Professor Dr. Aminur Rahman from the Department of Fisheries and Marine Biosciences in Bangladesh. He will speak about observed trends and project impacts in extreme climate change events, the regional and global perspectives. This is a keynote speech, and so I'm inviting Professor Rahman to join us.
I would like to welcome you all to my talk on observed trends and projected impacts of extreme climate change events, regional and global perspectives. As you know, climate change is now a very global concern. Everywhere we are now facing problem due to the climate change externalities and also extreme event. So, as you know that climate is defined as the alteration of the climate of an area as a result of anthropogenic and natural catastrophes. And it refers to the general change in the climate patterns, including temperature, precipitation, drought, winds, and other factors. And most importantly is the global warming, which causes the greenhouse effect, and that greenhouse effect causing the biodiversity and human health hazard. As you know that climate change is not only causes a fundamental threat to the places, capital, species, people's livelihood, but also unleashes detrimental impact on agriculture, including fisheries and livestock, water supplies, migration pattern, infrastructure, healthcare, disease prevalence, tourism stream, labor productivity, financial flows, energy, energy demands and economic activities. Therefore, this study will attempt to beam such light on the hazard that climate change poses to human existence, development, environment, habitat, global economy, food security, and health care. And probably the most worrying threat to the planet is global warming. As you know that there are two types of causes that climate change occurs due to human causes, such as burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, livestock production, chemical fertilizer, fluorinated gases, industrial gases, food waste, and transport vehicles, and natural causes, for example, axial tilt. This is the natural causes of climate change. As you know, our nature is a certain sun, moon, and planet. There is interaction. Solar variation causes the solar cycles, sunspot, there volcanic eruption, that is gas, magma, lava, axial tilt, the earth angle, earth is rotating and spinning of processing, eccentricity, orbital path, continental drift, tectonic plate, ocean current, evaporation, natural forest fire, carbon dioxide, methane, ashes, and greenhouse gases, for example, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, fluorocarbon, etc. And also this is the greenhouse effect. As you know that the sun is the power of energy, but both they have the both beneficial role and radiation. They have the ultraviolet ray. Also they have the sun. Also have the good radiation. But the most of the radiation is absorbed by the earth. But some of the radiation, solar radiation, is reflected back by the earth and the atmosphere. And some of the infrared, that is the infrared ray, that is the toxic to the human health and absorbed by the sun and then absorbed by the earth and atmosphere and re-emitted again. So, and then infrared radiation is emitted by the earth surface. And this is the global warming is because of this one, global warming occur. And as you saw that globally surface temperature anomaly. If we see that from 1961 to 1990, this is the base. After that, because of the industrial era and there are some new era of our world. We are modern. Our machinery, our everything we are now depends upon the fossil fuel and also the chemical. So that is why, because of that one, carbon dioxide increased too much beyond the imagination, and it is found that until that 2000 years, it is 0.6 degree centigrade. It is there because of the carbon dioxide increase. Carbon dioxide related to the carbon dioxide trap the heat from the sun, and then this sun and that is the air or carbon dioxide give back to the hot to the earth. That is why we are feeling, and it can found that the 3 decade, last 3 decade, 2000, 2020, and now until now, the temperature is increased. That is, temperature alumni is increased. Anomaly is increased 2 degrees centigrade, and before that it was only 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 degrees centigrade like this. But now we are 2 degrees centigrade increase global. And from this picture, you can see that the global surface temperature anomaly, it is measured from various types of company, that is the data center, and this found that until now, that is 2000 to 20, it become 1.5 degrees centigrade. But from the right panel, you can see that from the pre-industrial, that is 1980, it was 0.2, and until now it is now 1.2 at increasing trends. That is, it is increasing to the significantly in a line. They have a relationship. And then as the sea level rise, because of sea level rise also increasing, the carbon dioxide, for example, sea level rise is increasing because our ice area, that is the North Pole, South Pole, and also the Arctic, that place, because of the carbon dioxide, global temperature is increasing. So, and this is the from until 19, that is 0 degrees centigrade, 0 millimeter increase. But now it is increased nearly 200 millimeter, and now also from 2019 to 2023, it is increasing nearly 3.61 millimeter per year. So because of the global warming, so our ice is melting, and we are facing problem that our earth or our world will be maybe 21,000 to 2100 years, or maybe 30% to 40% earth will be immersed under the water. And you can say that this is the Hong Kong Observatory headquarters. They found that they measured from the 1940 to 2017, and rise in the 0.3 degree per decade days per decade. That is the rain day also increasing because of heavy raining some area that causes flooding, excessive rain. But now because of our warming is going on, so that is why decrease in 2.1 days per decade, that is the number of cold day. Number of cold days decreasing, and hot days increasing, from cold days decreasing. That is also causes our climate is a extra problem in the some area. And these storm surges, as you know that this is this picture, left picture, you can see that the normal sea level rise, white dot. But as you see that because high wind piles up seawater against the coast, and it causes the storm surge, and some area it is tsunami. Sometimes tsunami occurred because of the some areas flooded, storm surge. It causes havoc to the biodiversity and the life, and some typhoon cyclone occurs frequently. And then in this figure you can see that global temperature and sea level at the end of the 21st century. This is the summarization. That is, temperature will increase 2.6 to 4.8 degree centigrade in the 21st century, and sea level will be rise 0.45 to 0.8 meter, and this is frequently flood will occur. And then past and projected change in annual temperature. You know that under the high greenhouse gas emission scenario, the temperature is expected to rise by 1.5 to 3 degrees centigrade. 1.5 and mid 21st century 2051 to 60, and the late 21st century it will be 3 to 6 degrees centigrade. If this global warming continue, the world will be more warm, and then sea level rise, and also the temperature will be high. And these are 2010 and 2020 is the warmest and wettest season in our world. That is, you can see that this is the fourth area. You can see 2010 1.2 degrees centigrade temperature increase than the pre-industrial, and then now in 2020 or 20 it is increased maybe more than 1.5. So this is the increasing trend every year because of, you know, that the global warming is increasing due to the using of fossil fuel and industrial use of carbon dioxide and other factors. You know that the trends of Pacific Northwest PNW climate. You know that PNW is the area where the ice and now 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit degree centigrade in increase, and after 1950 to 2000 it is 30 to 60% is melting of the ice, and this is causes the sometimes flood. And you know that 21st century is our borderline, if you see that now until now. So if it increase the temperature, then it will exacerbate the flooding and heat global warming event, typhoon, cyclone, and other natural calamity, will cause havoc to the biodiversity of people and kill many people, and also global economy will be severely degraded. And the Pacific Northwest impact of climate change, because if the change of climate, if this happen, then the temperature changes, climate change in temperature, precipitation, storm frequency and intensity, and will affect snowpack will melting, stream flow, flooding, water supply, sea level rise, soil water content, and with consequences to it will affect to the public health, economic, livelihood, financial sector, infrastructure, industry, individual comfort, recreation, and then finally affect to our agriculture, stormwater, wastewater treatment, wildfire risks, roads, hydropower, then forest, sheep, biodiversity, etc. And sense of the King County, you know, the King County is the one of the largest and most populated county in USA, and it is the ideal one for the study of the climate change impact, because the government of that area they follow how can mitigate the climate change scenario during this decade. So this King County, the forest impact to grow productivity of forest, and they are susceptible to fire and insect disturbance. There's so much disturbance there. And another one is infrastructure impact on vulnerable elements, civil infrastructure, and consider precipitation variability, and health impact of ozone and particulate matter to childhood asthma disease and heat stress. This area is very susceptible to the many anomalies climate change scenarios. How they mitigate the situation, solution. For example, this is the one of the example we can follow to mitigate the climate extremity in our area. They first 2010 first greenhouse gas emission inventory. They make the inventory. Then 2005 the future and what is used to be at climate conference held, and then joined the Chicago Climate Exchange. After 2007, developed King County Climate Plan and an energy plan. And 2008, updated green building and sustainable development policy. In industry where the climate change scenario is affected, that places they make the green building and green energy harvest from the nature. Electric energy they use, not instead of the fossil fuel. And then completion of the Cedar Hill landfill renewal project, 2009. 2010 implementation of $6 billion US dollar to support electric vehicle, not the fossil fuel vehicle. So then King County Energy Plan, and then they mitigate the situation. Now King County is one of the ideal for climate stabilize and mitigate area for the one of the example of how they develop from the worst condition to the new era. And this is the long-term variation of temperature and carbon dioxide air bubble. You know, when the ice was constructed in the northern southern hemisphere, so their air bubble have they contain the carbon dioxide. They put the carbon dioxide inside, and that carbon dioxide trap the heat from the sun or from the atmosphere, and then heat causes the melting of the ice, and that melting of ice causes the sea level rise and flood and inundation of the coastal area. That is also increasing both of the carbon dioxide and temperature. If carbon dioxide increase, temperature increase, and if temperature increase, then global ice melting. So and then the ice core shows that temperature and carbon dioxide were correlated in the past, where the temperature increase and the temperature caused carbon dioxide to change, and carbon dioxide caused temperature to change. They are interrelated, and then it causes havoc in the Antarctica and Voltok. This area is doing like that melting of the ice due to the both effect of temperature and carbon dioxide. They trap the heat, and then heat melted the ice. And this is the what we do think that carbon dioxide released by human activities is causing the increase in our case, our human, carbon dioxide is decreased due to our respiration and also photosynthesis. That is not so havoc because it is the natural. But the problem is that we are using we are burning the fossil fuel for our industry, for our vehicle, for our ship. That causes the every year, previously pre-industrial 1960, it was nearly 300 ppm per year. But now, per 5 years. But now, until 420 ppm per year. So that is why it is causes the more warm in the world. Now, everywhere in the world, especially tropical, subtropical, and temperate area, the heat is very increasing and temperature increasing, and winter season is decreasing. Rainfall is some area is very exacerbated. Some area is no rain. That is the because of the environmental anomaly. And also you can see that model using the only natural forcing and model using both natural and atmospheric. If we only natural, this is the green color. Not green. This is the blue color. Blue color is very low changes, both global land and global ocean. And that is the yellow color. This show that these are both the human activities and the natural activities is exacerbated the global increase of temperature and also global increase of carbon dioxide. And also the observed changes in annual precipitation over land. This is the 1901 to 2010, and this is more or less trend is millimeter per year. Rain was not so, but because of the anomaly, that is the increase of change which is occurring in the amount of intensity of frequency and type of precipitation. Some places in the previous, the precipitation was very regular and homogeneous, but because of the changes of the environment, some area becomes too hot, some area because too cold, some areas. So that is the anomaly of the precipitation. Some areas become flooding, some areas drought and flooding. And you can see that the observed warming, world is heating, and so heat content in the top 700 meters of the world ocean. So it heat this nearly 20 now 20 into 10 to the power 22 joules of the heat per year is increasing. So if it is going up to 2025, it will give maybe 3. So if this heat content increase, then our global warming will be increased, and the climate system will be more change to an effect to the human health and economy and also our livelihood. And this is the observed ocean acidification. As you know that the carbon dioxide is increasing. So, and finally carbon dioxide is with rainwater, precipitation, when precipitation occur, the rainwater dissolve the carbon dioxide and enter into the ocean. And this is become carbonic acid. And this carbonic acid, bicarbonate, calcium bicarbonate, it is causes to the health hazard of the shell-bearing organism. For example, snail, shrimp, they cannot produce the shell to cover their body, and that is ocean acidification causes havoc to the biodiversity of the surface water fish, also bottom fish, and also the many biological phenomena in the oceanic system. And also global sea level rising. I already told you that previously the global in 100 years, 1900 to 2000, that is 100 year, only nearly 190 that is 1 meter, 1.9 centimeter, but now 3.4 centimeter. From 2015 to 2023, 3.6 centimeter it is increasing, millimeter is increasing. Before it was 1.9 millimeter. So that is also the causes the sea level rise and the inundation of the coastal area. And also the decrease of the Arctic sea level rise from 75 to 2030 because of the global warming. So it causes to the sea level, that is ice melting from the Antarctic. 1979 it was 2.7 million square miles and then 2013 1.7 million square meter. So it decreasing every day, every year. So now our that area is decreasing. That is our south North Pole, Antarctic, southern. That is causing the water rising in the sea level. And also the climate change to the blame for the external weather event. For example, because of the extreme weather event, now because of large increase in the number of storm hurricanes since 1970. After 1970, before 1970, there was not so many hurricane or very small storm. But after 70, frequent and strong hurricane, it hit to the coastal area and causes death and loss or heavy human and many lives and properties. and also in focus representative concentration pathway. That is, for example, there are 4 pathway including. One is the leading to very low forcing level. 2.6 means that emission is very low. 2 stabilization scenario, that is the climate change scientist in the world, that is IPCC, Intergovernment Planet Panel on Climate Change. They did some experiments, some research, less emitted, medium limited, and most limited, emitted. So most emitted is RCP 8.5, medium is RCP 4.5 and 6, and low emission. And this is the when the extreme emission, that is the strong emission, RCP 8.5, if the strong emission is occurred, then the sea level rise, that is the temperature will rise nearly 5 to 6 degrees centigrade. And medium, for example, in medium it will be 2 to 3 degrees centigrade. And the normal, that is low, it will only between 0 and 2, that is 1.5. So it depends upon the how strong is the emission. So if we have reduced the emission, we can stabilize our world to the better environment and better environment to live in with healthy condition. This is also the sense of the precipitation. Global warming increase risks of both drought and flood. Extreme precipitation likely to become more intense, frequent over some areas. And this is the projected change in ocean surface pH. As you know, I already told that the carbon dioxide is mixed with the rainwater and then enter into the ocean surface and increase the ocean, and this is the ocean acidification. If ocean acidification occur, then the pH is decreased, and this causes havoc to the biodiversity and the life of the animals and sea animals, and also the plankton, that is the primary productivity of the sea level. This is also the projected sea level rise. As you know, the most emitted, the sea level is rising. Global mean sea level will continue to rise during the 21st century. During the 21st century, it will increase more, that is 1 meter. So you can see that if 1 meter increase the global, then 30 or 40% world will be under the water. This is the projected impacts of climate change in Asia. As you know, this is the Asia also affected. There are so many diverse region and area, and then permafrost thawing. You know that large part of the Russia's ice cover thaw, relatively less of Himalaya ice thawed, glacier melt, glacier reduce, decrease river flow, coral reef will threat. The stage of climate change causes 30% of coral reef will die. Changes in rainfall, increase diarrhea, linked to drought and flood, and then increase malaria distribution. And this causes the havoc to the biodiversity and also human health. And this is the projected impact of climate change in Africa. Africa is more diverse because mainly the Africa is a tropical and climate change hot spot. This the sign, yellow color sign. This shows the area where it will affect. So it will affect the coral bleaching, more precipitation, risks of desertification, release of impact of fisheries, increasing frequency, intensity, melting of glaciers. It shows here in area basis. And this is the projected impact of climate in the Latin America. Latin America also causes the melting of ice, and also some area coral coral will be died, fish biodiversity will be decreased, and then some area will be disease affected due to the malaria, and then some other disease, diarrhea, etc. Please. And this is the projected impact of climates in the USA. Rising temperature, then this area, which area, it show the area, the color indicate the area, rising temperature, wildfire, heat wave, drought, cold wave, and winter storm, sea level rise, hurricane. You know now the America, USA, so many hurricane and so many tornado. It causes because of the so many area they have the weather change or climate. They also in America they are also using the fossil fuel more than the other countries for their industrial purpose. That is also America is very susceptible for climate externality and climate extreme condition. Yes, Australia also cyclone, extreme rainfall, hotter and drier, a heat wave, higher sea level rise, potential severe expected increase, drought. This is the area where the sign increase. The sign show the where the effect will severe. This is the projected impact of climate change in Europe. It is very vast. In many areas, color, it shows the color, typhoon, cyclone, that is western Mediterranean region, in northern European, mountain areas, central and extreme Europe, this coastal region, all are subjected to vulnerability in many places for the weather change and climate effect their lives and biodiversity and also their economy. It is written here, so in detail. This is the projected impact of climate change on a small island. You know, the small island is very susceptible for the sea level rise, exacerbating inundation, storm surge, erosion, and other coastal hazard. It will reduce the freshwater resource, and then invasion of non-native species, and also will be affected by flood and income security. And this is the carbon crossbed. You know, we have to crossbed. That is, we have to reduce the carbon from the industrial now 4 degrees centigrade to 2 degrees centigrade. This is the carbon. It increase if this is 4 degrees centigrade. It will increase the storm. It will increase the typhoon, cyclone, sea level rise. But if we put the carbon crossroad 2 degrees centigrade, it will be our greener. That is, our world will be more safety environmentally, and we can mitigate, but we can adapt. But if exacerbated, we cannot adapt because it is too much high emission. So how can we adapt? So we will cross. We have to reduce the fossil fuel and other carbon dioxide emitted substances, but we have to take the for example, our electricity or our energy we can get from the tidal force, our water vapor, energy we can get from the gas, and that we can pathway 2 degrees centigrade we can reduce, and then we can make our world green to live with healthy life and with the environment friendly climate we can. And then global warming by 2100 and beyond, a function of cumulative carbon dioxide emission. As you know that this is the temperature, that is the this is the temperature anomaly 1961 to 1980, and then limiting climate change will require substantial and sustained reduction of greenhouse gas emission. So now the greenhouse gas is emitted like this. So we have to reduce per year 1000 gigaton carbon dioxide we can produce. That is the normal. But beyond the 1000 gigaton of carbon dioxide, if we produce, it will be our world will be warmer, and then it will greenhouse gas will causes havoc to our life and our crop pattern, our health and our economy. and food security will be disturbed. So we have to reduce our carbon dioxide, and then we can live in a healthier environment. With this, thank you all for your kind attention. My sincere thanks and appreciation